What's up, fragrance family? And what's up to you, Luan, my very, very special nephew. It's your boy Neve, and we're back with another episode in the Fragrance 101 series. Guys, today is going to be a little bit different than the last video. Today is going to be a 3-note breakdown video. Let me just break it down for you guys. Essentially, what we're going to do with this channel is make some of the more difficult concepts easier to grasp. In perfumery, we have notes and we have ingredients. We have all types of synthetic ingredients, natural ingredients, and whatever it may be. They're in these bottles of juice. We got a mixture of alcohols and oils, and what this episode and the episodes of the like of this episode will do is dig into almost all of these oils. So this is going to be a very long series, guys. So if you're interested in something like that, you might want to hit that subscribe button, click on that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I drop content just like this. What we're going to do, we're going to use Fragrantica as a reference guide. What Fragrantica does is it has a nice database / index. And this index just basically lays out all the different types of families of notes or oils, if you will. We could have something like citruses, fruits, herbs, spices, woods, whatever it may be. Fragrantica does an excellent job at laying them out for you guys. We can just click those citrus or whatever it is that you're trying to get into, and it will basically organize them alphabetically and go through just a general idea of some information. Doesn't always go in depth, and that's where I'm going to step in. Guys, what I'm going to do is provide to you my knowledge regarding some of these oils to the best of my ability, regardless of its limitations. Now, I'm not a professional, but I have spent extensive time and continue to spend extensive time researching, learning, and basically what this series is going to enable us to do is learn together. This is the way that the outline is going to be. This is the first episode, and so we're going to start with the first category. The first category being citrus smells. Per Fragrantica, now remember, that's what we're going to use as the guide for this series. First one on the list is going to be citruses. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick 3 notes, and we're going to start in alphabetic order so we can keep track together and make it nice and organized and easy. For instance, today's video is going to be regarding citruses. So today is going to be citrus notes, part 1. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'll include the 3 notes that we're going to discuss in the title, so it's nice and easy for you to find. The next video, we're going to go into the next family of notes. And in this case, it's fruits, vegetables, and nuts. So the next episode that you're going to see regarding the 3-note breakdown episode, whatever the first 3 notes Fragrantica lists in alphabetical order is where we're going to start. Now for this video, we're going to start with 3 notes under the citrus family. Before we start, let's discuss what citruses are sometimes referred to in perfumery. And the word that it can be described as is Hesperidic. Hesperidic is basically what they use to reference most of these citrus fruit smelling types of notes, and it's named after Hesperides, a nymph of Greek mythology. The first note we're going to discuss today, guys, is the note of bitter orange. Bitter orange is a fruit that grows on the plant of Citrus aurantium. Bitter orange is also synonymous to a couple other words. Some words include Seville, Bigarade, or Bigarade, however you want to pronounce it, or marmalade orange. I'm gonna group the Bigarade or Bigarade note that you find in Fragrantica with this episode just because even though that's a 4th note, it's essentially the same thing. Bitter orange is known as the Bigarade as well. Bigarade was originated in Southeast Asia and it had a lot of medicinal uses throughout history. There's been some genetic studies which relate Bigarade to a combination of 2 fruits, and the fruits being pomelo and mandarin orange. Pomelo is a part of the grapefruit family, and mandarin orange is kind of like a honeyed type of orange. It's very sweet. The plant that the bitter orange grows on, Citrus aurantium, is actually responsible for a couple of other notes, guys. What they do is they extract these oils from some of these plants, trees, leaves, fruits. In this case, the bitter orange, they extract it from the peel. So what they do is they peel off that bitter orange rind, they dry it, they might grind it, crush it. There's a couple other ways to extract it. They could soak it in alcohol, wait till the oils separate and extract the oil from that alcohol tincture. But like I said, guys, there are other ways of producing the oils. That's for a later video. Now, the other couple of extracts that come from that same plant is neroli. Neroli is actually used from the flowers of the plant. And it also produces another note, which is called petite grain. And that comes from the leaves and twigs of the plant. From the single plant, we get bitter orange, aka sour orange, aka Seville orange, aka marmalade orange. We get the neroli oil, we get orange blossom oil. We also get the petite grain oil. That basically sums it up. Don't forget the bitter orange because it will come back. The next note that we're going to be discussing today is the note of bergamot. The note of bergamot obviously is extracted from fruit rinds of the bergamot fruit. Bergamot fruit was originally cultivated in Italy, specifically Bergamo. The DNA structure of a bergamot is actually closely related to a mixture of two fruits, one of which being the lemon and the other one being the bitter orange. So if you were following along, you would know that the bitter orange plant is responsible for producing that bitter orange, the neroli, the orange blossom, the petite grain, and also now, in a way, half of a bergamot. So it's not uncommon to find some fragrances that might use a bitter orange, but not necessarily use the bergamot, or vice versa, and you still smell something that might not be exactly what they would call a bergamot or a bitter orange. So maybe this can kind of help you understand why sometimes it's very subjective and it could be sensed very differently from nose to nose. The thing with the bitter orange, they call it a marmalade orange because it is commonly used to make marmalade, which if you know how marmalade is made, it's usually a jammy type of substance which is added with sugar and all that stuff just to make it edible. Bergamot comes off as a little bit more citrusy, it's tart. One other thing that's probably important to note is that it's used in Earl Grey tea. You open up your pantry and you pull out your Earl Grey tea and you look in the ingredients, you will find that it uses the bergamot oil. Lastly is the blood orange. Blood orange is also known as the orange sanguine, and it comes from the plant Citrus sinensis. This is an orange that has very noticeable traits because of that blood red flesh. What causes the blood red flesh is these polyphenols. Polyphenols are actually known to be very highly antioxidant. And so it was used medicinally and is still used medicinally as an anti-cancerous type of holistic treatment. The best way to describe the traits of a blood orange is think of it like this. It's basically an orange that's sweet, but tart at the same time with some grapefruit traits with raspberry and cherry undertones. So it almost tastes and smells like what it looks like. It has that redness that a cherry and a berry would have. It also kind of resembles a grapefruit and obviously an orange. But I'd say out of all the three, the blood orange is probably the most edible. I'm gonna give you an example of fragrances for each one of those notes where they utilize that fragrance note specifically. So, for instance, bergamot. A good fragrance which utilizes that bergamot note is Le Labo Bergamot 22. Another good fragrance that utilizes the bitter orange note, remember also known as the Bigarade note, is Frederic Mall's Bigarade. And lastly, we have the blood orange, which is used fantastically in Altier Cologne's Orange Sanguine. Now that we've gone over the three notes, hopefully you have a better understanding. And when you smell one of these notes, one of any of the three, and it relates to another note, or you get a similar vibe, let's say for instance, you smell something that has blood orange, but you can't necessarily pinpoint, I smell blood orange. But you can smell a little bit of a cherry vibe, maybe a grapefruit vibe, and that's essentially what my goal was here today, guys, is that we broke down some of these notes, gave you some resemblances, gave you some of their genetic makeup to really understand why if you're not actually catching these blood orange note or the bergamot note or whatever it may be, is that you're not alone. And this is something where you really have to train your nose. And the only way to train your nose is to also start with the brain. Now, with the knowledge you have now after this video, you can go and smell something and really pinpoint it and then understand, I might not smell a bergamot note, but I do smell a little bit of a lemon and I do get a little bit of a bitter orange. So that means I'm smelling a bergamot. See, it's all intertwined. And then you have the bitter orange, has 50% DNA of a grapefruit family fruit, which is the pomelo. And then you have the blood orange, which is a little bit of a mix of everything. So it's good to know these things, guys. It's very important to know these things. This is the information that will help us all get closer to actually understanding what we're smelling and just putting a little bit more meaning into fragrances rather than just buying them, spraying them. You smell it, get your nose on it, you appreciate it, you understand it. Knowledge is power, guys. That's what this playlist is all about. The goal of this series is to make what may seem difficult really easy, and I hope that I accomplish my goal by making this as easy as possible, by providing you guys my knowledge, cutting out the busy work and all the digging to whatever limitations my knowledge might have. If you made it through the video this far, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was as fun and as easy to understand and learn as possible. We're learning this together, guys. I'm not a professional, but I'm doing the best I can to bring you what's in this noggin and hopefully transfer it over to yours. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video half as much as I did making it for you guys. And as always, I love you.